Nowhere are speed, precision, and smartness so vitally important and so clearly evident as aboard an aircraft carrier. And no ship in the whole Navy is so completely dependent upon the competence and level-headed judgment of the individual.
Pilot, man your plane.
Aboard the carrier, every officer and every bluejacket is an important player on one great team. When the carrier's crew is called into action, there is no room for error, no time to ask questions. A moment of indecision or confusion can cost a victory. Speed in launching planes from a carrier, no less than accuracy and rapidity of fire in turret guns, is a determining factor in battle and can only be attained by long practice, absolute discipline, and perfect coordination. It is not heavy armament and massed firepower alone that makes a Navy great, but the combination of these with loyal and intelligent manpower. A ship which prides itself on its smartness and all-around efficiency is invariably a happy ship. A contented crew makes for an efficient ship, and good officers habitually show every consideration for the men who serve with them. In the United States Navy, the enlisted men have more comforts and conveniences than in any other Navy in the world. In providing recreational facilities for its men, the Navy long ago found that the bluejacket was representative of normal, educated American youth, that his taste was the taste of intelligent young men everywhere. Motion pictures, which formerly were used aboard ship only for entertainment, are now an important and effective medium of training and indoctrination.
One thing we must never do is to underestimate the enemy. The Japanese have been most successful in copying and applying modern ideas of warfare. They are shrewd and resourceful fighters, and they have shown themselves to be absolutely ruthless.
Day and night, as long as you're in the Navy, you will be working and living in the company of hundreds of others with whom you will share living space, food, and recreation. What you make of your naval career may well depend upon your ability to get along with your shipmates, to respect the rights of others, and to extend to them the understanding and consideration which make for goodwill and friendliness. To all hands, from the admiral to the newest seaman, a ship represents not only his home, but his community, and within it are contained all the varied elements of a community ashore. On Sundays, when it is time for divine service, the ship's bell is tolled and the church pennant is flown above the colors. Attendance at church services is voluntary. Navy chaplains are clergymen commissioned as officers, and among them are those of every denomination and creed. A few weeks of the time he came aboard as a stranger, the new bluejacket has found his place in the community, knows most of the details of the ship's routine, and knows the names and duties of all his officers. And during his first weeks at sea, the new sailor has been acquiring something he has scarcely been aware of, something that makes America's seafaring men win their battles and their wars. For out of the companionship of his fellow men, out of his pride in his ship and his love of the open sea, there has been born in him an indefinable quality which is called the Navy spirit. Almost before he knows it, greenness and strangeness have worn off, and he is a full-fledged member of the ship's company, rooting hard for his own division, his own ship, and most of all, for his own Navy. Seasoned in shipboard routine and in Navy customs, the sailor has been shaken down into a new way of life entirely different from anything he has known before. A way of life which will forever leave its imprint on him. As long as he lives, his meals will be chow, his coffee Java or Jamoke. Steak and eggs will remind him of the 3 a.m. battle breakfast, purposely hearty because no one knows when galley fires can be lighted again. Always he will think of a kitchen as a galley. Stairs will be ladders, walls will be bulkheads, and until eternity the floor will be a deck. Though in time of war, ships of the Navy must spend the fewest possible hours in port, one of their primary peacetime missions has been to show the flag in foreign harbors. At his discretion, the commanding officer may grant shore leave or liberty to men whose services can be spared. Before you are permitted to leave the ship, you will be required to be in proper uniform and to present a neat and tidy appearance. You will be expected to maintain this appearance while you are on shore. When you go ashore wearing the uniform of the United States Navy, you are not a private citizen. You are looked upon as a representative of the United States, and whatever you do ashore will reflect credit or discredit upon your Navy and your country. While you are on liberty, stay on your good behavior and keep out of trouble. Avoid drinking too much. Apart from the damage excessive drinking may do to you, it brings disrespect to the uniform. Make it a rule not to talk shop when away from your ship. Bluejackets and Marines are frequently made the target of enemy agents, seeking to obtain information concerning ship movements. For the protection and safety of yourself, your shipmates, and your country, great care and caution should be exercised in guarding your conversation with civilians ashore. Today, your Navy is engaged in the greatest struggle it has ever faced, a war which is truly a war of survival. Your shipmates are now in combat with the enemy in the North and South Atlantic, in the Arctic, in the Mediterranean, and in the North and South Pacific. They are supporting American troops in South America, Greenland, Iceland, the British Isles, the Near East, the Far East, the continent of Australia, and on many islands of the Pacific. Ships of the Navy are carrying, and must continue to carry, bombs, planes, and ammunition through perilous waters to American pilots and gunners who are in actual combat over all the continents of the world. On all the oceans, the Navy is at battle stations. Behind the Navy's fighting spirit is a tradition that has carried it to victory in every war it has fought. A tradition voiced in the long-remembered words of the great John Paul Jones. I have not yet begun to fight. By the Navy's great Oliver Hazard Perry. We have met the enemy, and they are ours. And in the men of the Navy today, its officers, its bluejackets, and its Marines, the Navy spirit and its traditions still live.